Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible Summary Series. Today we're starting in Numbers chapter 12. Miriam and Aaron began to criticize Moses because he had married a woman from Ethiopia. And they said, "Has the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hasn't he also spoken by us?" And the Lord heard it. Now Moses was a very humble man, more humble than anyone else on the earth. Suddenly the Lord said to Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, "Come out, all three of you, to the tent of meeting." So they went out together. Then the Lord descended in a pillar of cloud and stood at the entrance of the tent. He called Aaron and Miriam forward, and when they stepped up, he said, "Listen to my words. When there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, reveal myself to them in visions. I speak to them in dreams. But not so with my servant Moses, who is faithful in all my house. With him I speak face to face, clearly and not in riddles. He sees the form of the Lord. So why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" And the Lord's anger burned hot against them, and he departed. As the cloud lifted from above the tent, Miriam's skin became leprous and turned as white as snow. When Aaron looked and saw Miriam's condition, he pleaded with Moses, "Please, my Lord, I beg you, don't hold this sin against us that we have so foolishly committed. Don't let her be like a stillborn child whose flesh is half consumed when it comes out of its mother's womb." So Moses cried out to the Lord, "O God, I beg of you, heal her." Then the Lord said to Moses, "If her father had but spit in her face, would she not bear her shame for 7 days? Let her be shut outside of the camp for 7 days. After that, she may be brought back." So Miriam was shut outside of the camp and isolated for 7 days, and the people did not move on until she was brought back. After that, they left Hazeroth and camped in the wilderness of Paran. In Numbers chapter 13, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, the promised land, which I am giving to the Israelites. You are to send 1 leader from each tribe of Israel." So at the Lord's command, Moses sent 12 men out from the wilderness of Paran. All of them were leaders from the 12 tribes. Among them was Caleb from the tribe of Judah, and Hoshea, whom Moses renamed Joshua, from the tribe of Ephraim. When Moses sent these men to explore Canaan, he said, "Go up through the Negev and into the hill country. See what the land is like, and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. See what kind of land they live in. Is it good or bad? And their cities, are they camps or fortresses? Is the land fertile or poor? Are there trees or not? Be of good courage, and bring back some of the fruit of the land." Now this was during the time when the first grapes should be ripe. So the men went up and explored the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob near Hamath. They went up through the Negev and came to Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak, lived. When they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes. 2 of them had to carry it on a pole between them, along with some pomegranates and figs. They named that place the Valley of Eshcol, which means cluster of grapes, because of the grapes the Israelites gathered there. After 40 days, they returned from exploring the land. They came back to Moses, Aaron, and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran, and gave them their report as they showed them the fruit of the land. "We went into the land you sent us to," they said to Moses, "and it certainly does flow with milk and honey. Here is some of its fruit. But the people who lived there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea, along the Jordan River." Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "Let us go up at once and take possession of the land, for we can certainly overcome it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We are not able to go against those people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread an evil report among the Israelites about the land they had explored, and said, "The land we explored devours those who live in it, and all the people were of great stature. We even saw giants, the sons of Anak. Before them we felt like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." In Numbers chapter 14, the entire community raised their voices and wept that night. Then all the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, and the whole congregation said to them, "If only we had died in Egypt, or even in this wilderness. Why has the Lord brought us to this land to let us be killed by the sword, and to let our wives and children be taken as plunder? Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt?" And they said to each other, "Let us choose a new leader and return to Egypt." Then Moses and Aaron fell face down before the whole congregation of Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, who were among those who had explored the land, tore their clothes in despair. "The land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good," they said to the Israelites. "If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and don't be afraid of the people of the land, for they are bread for us. We will devour them. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them." But the people didn't listen. Instead, they began talking about stoning Joshua and Caleb to death. Then the glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. And the Lord said to Moses, "How long will these people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to believe me, despite all the miraculous signs I have performed among them? I will strike them down with a plague and destroy them, but I will make you into a nation greater and mightier than they." But Moses said to the Lord, "Then the Egyptians will hear about it. By your power you brought these people up from among them. They will tell the inhabitants of this land about it. They have already heard that you, Lord, are with these people, and that you, Lord, have been seen face to face, that your cloud stays over them, and that you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. If you put all these people to death, the nations who have heard this report about you will say, 'The Lord was not able to bring these people into the land which he promised them, and so he slew them in the wilderness.' And now I beg you, may the Lord's strength be displayed, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love, and forgiving sin and rebellion. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sins of the parents to the third and fourth generation. Forgive, I ask of you, the sin of these people in accordance with your great love, just as you have pardoned them from Egypt until now." And the Lord replied, "I have forgiven them, as you have asked. But as truly as I live, and as surely as the glory of the Lord fills the whole earth, not one of those who saw my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, and have still disobeyed me and tested me these 10 times, not one of them will ever see the land I promised to their ancestors. None of those who have despised me and treated me with contempt will see it. But my servant Caleb has a different spirit, and follows me wholeheartedly. Him will I bring into the land he explored, and his descendants will inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are living in the valleys, turn back tomorrow, and set out toward the wilderness along the route to the Red Sea." Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "How long will I put up with this wicked community which grumbles against me? For I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel. So tell them, as surely as I live, declares the Lord, as ye have spoken in mine ears, so will I do to you. Your carcasses shall fall in this wilderness, every one of you 20 years old or more, who was counted in the census, and who has grumbled against me. Not one of you will enter the land I swore to make your home, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. As for your children, who you claimed would be taken as plunder, I will bring them into the land you have rejected, and they will enjoy it. But as for you, your bodies will fall in this wilderness, and your children will wander in the wilderness for 40 years, and suffer the consequences of your whoredoms, until the last of your carcasses be wasted in the wilderness. For 40 years, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explored the land, you will suffer for your sins, and know my displeasure. I, the Lord, have spoken, and I will surely do these things to this evil congregation which has conspired against me. They will meet their end in this wilderness, and here they will die. Then the men Moses had sent to explore the land of Canaan, who returned and made the whole community grumble against him by spreading an evil report, these 10 men died of a plague before the Lord. Only Joshua and Caleb survived from those who explored the land. When Moses told the Israelites what God had said, they mourned and wept deeply. Then early the next morning, they set out for the highest point in the hill country. "We are ready to go to the land the Lord has promised," they said. "We admit we have sinned." But Moses said, "Why are you disobeying the Lord's command? You will not succeed. Do not go up, because the Lord is not with you. You will be defeated by your enemies, for the Amalekites and the Canaanites will confront you there, and you will fall by the sword, because you have turned away from the Lord, and he will not be with you." Nevertheless, in their arrogance and pride, they went up toward the highest point in the hill country, though neither Moses nor the ark of the Lord's covenant moved from the camp. Then the Amalekites and the Canaanites who lived in that hill country came down and attacked them, and easily defeated the Israelites, and chased them all the way to Hormah.
From the wilderness of Paran we set our sight. 12 were chosen leaders in the night. Go up through the Negev, Moses did declare. See if the land is good and what is there. Oh, land of milk and honey flow, fruit so rich where vineyards grow. Giants may rise, their shadows tall, but with courage we can conquer all. The enemy will fall. Yes, by faith we can conquer all. Through valleys deep and hills so high, with grapes and cities reaching the sky. But fear took hold in many hearts that day. The people there are strong, they say. Oh, land of milk and honey flow, fruit so rich where pomegranates grow. Walls may be high and warriors strong, but with faith we can right the wrong. The enemy will fall. Yes, by faith we can conquer all. The people wept and grumbled through the night. Why has the Lord brought us to this plight? Let's choose a leader, return to Egypt. But Joshua and Caleb said, don't do it. Oh, land of milk and honey flow, fruit so rich where vineyards grow. Giants may rise, their shadows tall, but with courage we can conquer all. The enemy will fall. Yes, by faith we can conquer all. Do not rebel, do not despair. The Lord is with us, he hears our prayers. Their protection's gone, we'll seize the day. Trust in God, he'll lead the way. Oh, land of milk and honey flow, fruit so sweet where faith can grow. Giants may stand, but they will fall. If we trust, we can conquer all. The enemy will fall. Yes, by faith we can conquer all. But anger rose from the fearful crowd. Talk of stoning echoed loud. Then the glory